Hello and welcome to another episode of SWF Faction Warfare. We are about to book the first SWF Supreme TV after the 50th birthday spectacular, so all the fallout from that pay-per-view. If you are new here, I have put a link to the playlist below so you can go back and watch all the other episodes, but for those who are regulars around here, let's get into it. Before Supreme TV, we have SWF Uprising, which I turned into a 1-hour B-show at the start of the save. As usual, I do pre-show matches, usually featuring development talent from RIPW, to improve their skills. Really, I should have used less developed opponents on the pre-show, as Rift and Ruin, the team of Avalanche and Makutsi, get a win over Froshua and Brian Jewett, but it gets a 48. Next up, still on the pre-show, Chill gets a victory over my in-game brother from another mother, Ollie Howell. This gets a 4. Howells will hopefully improve his primary and psychology skill. His charisma and star quality are already very good. The final pre-show match, which sees Diva Arnold and Jungle Lord get a victory over Clubber Ball and Crusher Ball, known in RIPW as the Wrecking Balls. A 47 rated match. Clubber and Crusher will have to hope they become dynamite in primary and psychology, as their performance skills are really low. We start Uprising with Fame and Money, Paul Huntington and Monty Trescard getting a victory over Harry Allen and Gary the Entertainer. We gave Harry Allen a one-night deal to do a job. This got a 53 rate. I wanted to try people with more popularity in the opening match to see if we could get at least a 70 or above. It got a 53. We are greeted by the SWF North American champion. He puts over his win at the 50th anniversary show and doubles down on his belief that he needs better competition. The commentators are keen to point out he usually has help from his stooges to win matches. Jack Bruce comes down to the ring and tells him he will find out who his competition will be on Supreme TV. He also has plenty of opportunities coming his way. Backstage in the next segment, Big Money Inc. of Brandon James, Chrissy Angel, and the SWF World Tag Team Champions of Atom Smasher and Bear Bukowski are talking about the champs retaining over Faith and Old Glory, and James says he has his sights set on a big star to further boost their ranks. Chrissy introduces Big Money Inc. merchandise and says the money is rolling in. A 70 rating, which is the minimum we'd need to keep our storylines hot. Ernest Youngman picks up a win over Paul Steadyfast, who is in on a one-night deal to do a job. A 38 rating, and this brought the crowd down for having two workers they didn't want to invest in. After this show, I will use some of that booking team creative juice and try and boost Youngman's momentum. If I can get him to at least very warm, he will be able to appear without getting nerfed. A 38 rating for this match. Backstage, we are treated to a puppet show from Gary the Entertainer, with some planted fans in attendance. Robbie Wright starts heckling and booing as Gary the Entertainer puppet and Sammy the Smoke puppet are wrestling two other puppets and becoming tag team champions. After the puppet match is over, they both pop back up with baseball bats, and suddenly a Robbie Wright looking puppet appears in the middle of it, and from each side they beat down the little Robbie Wright puppet with bats. Fans in attendance have foam bats and chase the real Robbie Wright, trying to get him with their bats. A 69 rating. If I hadn't forgot about Youngman's momentum, that would have surely been over 70, as that really calmed the crowd down. You can see using Wright and Gary in comedy segments gives them a boost. It's always worth checking your roster's attributes. Kip Keenan and Lenny Brown get a victory over Willie LaRue and Primetime Jack Pride, who was here on a one-night deal. The match got a 56. The main event saw Rogue pick up a victory over Sammy Smoke, but it was closer than people would expect. A 66 rating. Again, I was hoping for at least a 70. After the match, as Rogue is making his way backstage, he is met by John Greed. Both men start talking, and Greed puts his arm around Rogue and leads him through the curtain to the backstage area. Commentators wonder what is going on and if this means Rogue is joining the harrowing, or could he be the leader? A 64 rating here to end the show, and the good work done by Spade and Bruce was ruined by, well, me. As we get ready for Supreme TV, it's time for a booking meeting. We get nothing. We have 64 creative energy, not even enough to create a match finish. I used that 64 creative energy on Ernest Youngman, who was boosted to 1, so not as much as I needed. Going to have to rely on my own booking skill. Oh dear. Supreme TV pre-show now, and Hellion gets a win over Brian Jewett. I've stopped using Dominate, and it gets a 30 rating. So not much difference here. The next pre-show sees Hawaiian Crush get a victory over Paul Steadyfast and Primetime Jack Pride, a 55 rating for this one. The next pre-show match sees Aldous Blackfriar get a victory over Ollie Howells, a 30 rating, and both men don't click, so good to know for future booking. The final pre-show match sees the wrestling machines of Angry Gilmore and Ernest Youngman get their win over Wrecking Balls. This gets a 52. We open Supreme TV with Jack Bruce announcing a number one contenders triple threat match for the main event tonight as Valiant takes on Remo and Primus Allen for a shot at Rocky Golden's SWF Championship. Des Davids comes out and demands to be added to the match. He blames Bruce the Giant for getting involved. Jack Bruce said he is rewarding the winners of last night's matches with opportunities. He recommends Davids get back into winning ways so he can get back into contention. Davids throws his mic down and leaves. As he leaves, Spencer Spade music hits and he comes to the ring. He demands to know who his competition will be. He tells him he will find out his next challengers for the SWF North American Championship very soon, as there will be a number one contenders tournament starting tonight. Spade throws a hissy fit when he finds out that Hollywood Bret Starr is in the tournament, but then he's interrupted by Robbie Wright's music. He comes down to the ring and is shocked he isn't in either title tournament or the title match. He deserves a shot. Bruce tells him that he needs to go and speak to Eric as he puts his phone away. He tells him he will find him an opponent. This gets an 86 rating. Backstage, Bruce enters Eric's office. Both are happy with the title tournament. Eric tells him that Spencer Spade is not happy and was under the impression that Hollywood Bret Starr would go to the back of the line. Bruce argues we cannot have superstars telling us what they can and can't do. Bret Starr must win at least 3 matches to get a shot at Spencer Spade. I would say that's enough to earn a shot, wouldn't you? Bruce leaves as Eric gets back to his paperwork. An 86 rating. In the next match, it looks like Jack Bruce has found an opponent for Robbie Wright. It's the world champion, Rocky Golden, who gets the win with a rack. It gets a 70 rating. Rogue is sat in the back. He is in the darkened area of the arena. His phone is going off with messages, but he ignores them and puts his phone away. He looks up and he is surrounded by 3 men. Aldous Blackfriar questions John Greed's choice of a recruit. Greed puts over Rogue as a former multiple-time SWF champion, and he should show him some respect. Rogue doesn't really seem to be listening. He seems to be wallowing in self-pity. Hellion smashes his fist into some backstage equipment, which gets Rogue's attention. Greed crouches down and tells Rogue, "You've lost your edge. You're a little lost soul. Let us show you the path through this darkness. He will guide you back to glory." He drops a black cloth onto Rogue's lap. He knows what you desire, and it can be yours. We await your decision. The heroine then leave as Rogue stares down at the cloth. A 56 rating. In the first round of the North American number one contenders tournament, ZWB gets a win over Brandon James with a 450 splash. The Domination were at ringside, but Faith and Old Glory came out and they brawled to the back. This got a 77 rating, which is much higher than their pay-per-view encounter. Why not give it up for ZWB there and double check that you've already subscribed? Then you don't miss any of the action. The Domination come back down to the ring and beat down ZWB. They pick him up and hold him as Brandon James gets a chair and brings it into the ring. They then put the chair over ZWB's knee. James goes up to the second rope, and this brings back Faith and Old Glory again to chase them away, and they have chairs of their own. The commentators pour over the fact that the 2 teams will meet once again later tonight for the SWF World Tag Team titles. A 69 rating here. I was hoping for 70 at the very least. Backstage, Robbie Wright is talking to Hannah, who isn't really listening. She's constantly looking around or checking her phone. Wright asks if she saw him take Rocky Golden to the limit earlier. Hannah says she must have missed that and is still looking around. Wright says he was screwed and should be the champion right now. But Gary the Entertainer shows up and tells him not to tell lies. He got his backside handed to him by the SWF champion. He doesn't recall him getting in much offense. Wright has enough and swings a punch, but Gary ducks and then is disappeared behind a lot of the crates. Wright can't find him, and when he turns back to talk to Hannah, who has disappeared, and in her place stands Primus Allen, who Wright bumps into. He then runs away as quickly as he can. This gets a 70 rating. Stephen Parker retains the SWF World Television Championship thanks to Justice Jolson's interference, getting the win over Jungle Lord. A 62 rating, even though I wanted to calm the crowd down. Valiant is backstage. He finds Hannah and is pumped for tonight's main event. If he wins, he gets a shot at the SWF Championship and can finally put this thing with Scythe behind him. He asks if Hannah wants to go out there and celebrate. She double checks. Did he mean just them two? He says, no, the guys will be there too, Keenan, Faith and Patriot. She loses interest and goes back to her phone. Valiant answers his phone. Yeah, babe, I'm back in town. Sure, we'll see you there. Laters. He goes to check on Hannah, but she's disappeared. This gets an 84 rating as Hannah's mysterious behaviour goes on, and Valiant is so wrapped up in his own ways, he doesn't even notice. Backstage, Mickey Lau cuts a promo promising to avenge his loss to Randy Unleashed after he cheated at the 50th birthday spectacular. After he kicks his teeth down his throat next week, he will advance in the tournament and go on to win the SWF North American Championship. This gets a 67 rating. Again, I would have liked it to be at least a 70. Faith and All Glory defeat The Domination via DQ after Chrissy Angel attacks Mass Patriot with her high heel shoe. So they win the match, but not the SWF World Tag Team Championship. It gets a 74 rating. Backstage, Faith and All Glory complain to Eric Eisen. They feel they deserve another opportunity as they won the match, but were DQ'd by Chrissy's interference. Eric says they've had enough chances, and he feels they should go to the back of the line. He is going to make a number one contenders match next week, and they won't be involved. Faith and All Glory leave looking really down. Eric goes back to his desk and puts a business card for Big Money Inc. next to his phone. In another first round match for the SWF North American Championship Tournament, we see Hollywood Bret Starr get a victory over Huey Cannonball. Spencer Spade was at ringside watching and he teased getting involved, but in the end he didn't. A Hollywood hammer and Starr moves on to the next round. This got an 82 rating, which is fantastic. Well worth a like, wouldn't you say? Next, we have Primus backstage getting a last-minute workout. Jack Bruce approaches and Primus is grateful for this opportunity tonight. Bruce tells him, you've earned this. You beat Rogue, who was a former SWF champion, and your path of destruction has been really impressive. Des Davids then enters the scene and he says, this place makes him sick, and Bruce is the worst thing to ever happen to this place, protecting that golden goose. Well, soon enough, he's going to take off that golden goose's head. He tells him he will be at ringside tonight, so we'll see what all this hype is all about. He gets in Primus's face as the camera pans away. An 88 rating. Now that's what I'm talking about. In a non-Rocky Golden main event for the first time of this save, we get an 88 rating as Remo gets the win with a destroyer taking out Valiant. Rogue came out to ringside opposite Hannah. He was acting a little strange and Hannah became a bit agitated. Valiant got distracted as his arch enemy was out there, and this led to the finish. Primus had already been taken out. Hannah is arguing with Rogue as she goes up the ramp, with him in pursuit saying, she has to tell him, she must do it. Valiant eventually rolls out the ring and crawls to the back, trying to catch up. Remo is in the ring celebrating when he is confronted by Des Davis with a chair. Both men stare across the ring from each other. David then charges, but he swings and connects to the back of Primus Allen. David rains down chair shots across the back of Primus Allen while staring at Remo. The music of Rocky Golden hits and David throws the chair down as Golden gets to the ring. David rolls out of the other side and leaves through the crowd. Remo also leaves as Golden shouts at him for being a coward and letting this happen. Golden checks on Primus and shouts for help as the show goes off the air. So back-to-back 88 ratings. Surely that definitely... Overall, an 87 rating, which isn't one of our best, but I'm still really happy. Anything over an 85 is great at the moment, but I want to keep pushing to get into the 90s more regular. And a main event without Rocky Golden at this stage, getting over 85, is really good. So we had 2 matches above 80. You'll love to see it. 3 angles above 85. Let's keep that momentum going. We made another 2.4 million from these tapings, and now we have 9.9 million towards that growth of the SWF network. We see some growth across the US, especially in Hawaii, growth in Canada, and more so in Quebec and Ontario. Lots of growth in Mexico and the UK. Primus Allen has gone from 71 popularity at the start of this save up to 74, with some regions touching 75. Here is a list of our top rated matches. That 92 from Golden Davids from the Birthday Spectacular is our target. Appearing shortly will either be the next episode if you're not up to date, or while you're waiting, a video about pushing someone from the bottom of the roster to the top of the roster. Until next time, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, guys. Thank you.